Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video. I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. Here's the point of today's video. So I got a 243, and this is a 243 that I've decided to be a keeper. When I get one that I find a loading that just does, man, super good groups, I try to keep it. This is a, what is this one? I'm drawing a blank. This is a Savage 110 Trail Hunter. If you haven't seen them before, come with this green Hogue stock. Comes with a two-piece rail. I put a one-piece rail on it. Heavier profile barrel and a threaded barrel. I got my Banish 30 V2 on there. But I found a loading that this one really likes. And I had a different scope on this. And the whole point of today, I'm bringing you guys along with everything that I'm doing like every time else. I had a scope on here that wasn't necessarily ideal for going long range. And since this groups so well, I'm gonna make this my long range 243 rig. We're gonna do long range 243 videos. You know, I'm talking about like stretch it out to 1,000 yards, at least try to, and stuff like that. Beyond hunting distances. So I got this scope. And this is kind of the purpose of the video, is to get this scope set up on this rig and make sure that it's up to snuff, the dials work and everything. And this is a Discovery OPT, I'll show you on the box. This is the third scope that I've tried from this company, which gives me confidence that this one will be awesome. I've got one on my long range 6mm Creedmoor setup. I've got one on my long range 22 ARC setup, so I said, man, let's try to slap one on the long range 243. This exact model I haven't tried before, but this is their 5 to 30. I'm gonna read it right off the box. HD Gen 2 5 to 30 by 56, and it's a 34mm, and you can see it's got the Christmas tree reticle and its first focal plane. 34mm tube. I also got in some of their rings from the same company. So we'll see how it does. Might as well sit here and show you the box real quick. So here's the rings. And I noticed this before. The finish is good. Finish is real good. But I like how they put the torque specs on it. So what's it say there? 20 inch-pounds on the top and 25 inch-pounds on the bottom for the rail. Also uses Torx bit screws. Drives me nuts when people don't use Torx bits. And I might as well show you the scope here while we're at it. It says shockproof, windproof, big eye box, nitrogen purged, and has warranty. Quality control checks. Somebody went through a whole bunch of stuff and said that this scope is good before they shipped it out. Yeah, little Allen key to adjust the turrets probably. Sunshade, sometimes I use those, sometimes I don't. And then the scope itself. Oh, here you go. Here's a Discovery Gen 2, 5 to 30 by 56. Pretty sweet. I thought the profile of this was going to be even bigger, but it's not ginormous like you might expect from a 5 to 30. Here's something. People want to hear the clicks. I'll put it up to my microphone here. But it's got zero stop. Some people like zero stop. This particular one is in mils. Yeah, how's the throw go? Came with that throw lever already installed. But let me go over to my vise, get this slapped on and make sure it's perfectly level. When I'm doing hunting rigs, I'm normally pretty okay with just eyeballing it. Yeah, that's level. But when I'm setting up long range rigs, I get it perfectly level with a bubble level. So let me go do that quick on the bench with the torque wrench and the vise, and I'll be right back. And we'll get to slinging them. Get this sighted in at 100 and start stretching it out. And yeah, it's gonna be awesome. All right, so now we got the setup. I got the scope on there, torqued up and everything. Let me just give you an up-close look of the whole rig and the ammo and everything we're doing. Then we're gonna get it sighted in, get some chronograph speeds, start stretching it out, making sure that this scope is groovy and gonna work for us long range on this 243. So let me show you everything quick. Showed you my can there, Banish 30 V2, Savage 110 Trail Hunter, and then this baby. You can see on the rings there, I like how they do their rings. So back in the day, ring companies used to make big gaps, and you'd have like 1/8 of an inch on this side, and you try to get 1/8 of an inch on this side. These rings, you actually get it really close on both sides, and it's machined very well, you can tell. I like it. This is a 34 millimeter tube on here. Like I said, I got the torques and everything right with my torque wrench. At 100 yards, I'm gonna get it dialed in with the lead sled. And then this is the ammo we're working with here. So these are 95 grain SSTs. Normally I'll write a little sticker up here, but I haven't completely confirmed this yet. I'm pretty confident these are gonna group really well. 95 grain SSTs, if my memory's right, they're going around 2,900, maybe ballpark around there, but we're gonna chronograph them too and get those speeds so we can fill this box up with them and say that's what we're gonna use for this baby. I'm gonna get bore sighted, put a camera down at 100 yards and start slinging them and recording those chronograph speeds. So be right back. All right, so I just bore sighted it. Let me get y'all a little closer here. I just bore sighted it. I looked through the barrel and lined up the scope, and hopefully we're somewhere in the ballpark there, good enough to be on paper. Let's see what happens. Got my chronograph turned on. That bolt closed a little rough, but if it's accurate, I don't care about that. Here we go. All right, we're gonna give it all the zoomies, 30 zooms. And hopefully we're on paper right here. Fix the parallax here. Okay, I'll do my best on the trigger and hopefully we hit that paper down there. Not bad, pretty center. Not bad for a bore sight. I'm gonna go ahead and do a group of 3 there. Save this brass because we're definitely gonna load it up again. See what happens. 2 more into this group. I jumped just a shade on that one, but still not too far off from that first one. I like the eye relief. This isn't a super recoiling rig, but I like the eye relief. 2 of those were close. So let me adjust the scope based on that group there. Man, this wind, if anything, this wind is just kind of annoying. That backdrop is blowing sun, but it is windy out here today. Okay, so we are about 1 inch low. So we need to bring it up. Should be about 3 clicks for the up and down, and then the left to right is about 2 inches left, so it should be about 6 or 7 clicks back to the right. Give it 7. Now, I don't want to waste a ton of this ammo, but we definitely got to have everything dialed. And make sure this thing's on before we start stretching it out. So let's go top left target on this one. Looks like we got a little bit of a break in the wind. If anything, the wind is just annoying me and affecting me, not, you know, at 100 yards messing the flight path of the bullet. But there's a good squeeze there, basically bullseye. That's good enough for me. I'm gonna leave it right there. So let me reset the turrets to 0. We'll look at the chronograph data and I'll build a drop sheet real quick and then we'll start sending it downrange further. All right, so you can see I've got my turret zeroed now here, both the windage and elevation turrets. On this scope, it's real easy. There are 4 screws on the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way around. You loosen those screws with the Allen wrench that came in the box with it. Then pull your turret up, put the 0 down back on the middle hash mark, push it all the way down, and then just tighten those up, and it's the same thing on the side. But now we're zeroed, we got that bullseye, we're ready to go and build our drop table and scope dials. All right, so we're dead on at 100 yards. Next stop is 200 yards. Here's the data I used. So not super impressed with this stuff so far, but in the past it did incredible groups out of this thing, so that's what I'm rolling with, at least for today. Projectile weight, 95 grain. These are SSTs. The G1BC is 0.335. Average velocity I got out of those, 2836.5. That's not, you could get a 95 grainer faster than that, but I'm more worried about precision in small groups than I am speed. So 2836.5. SD on that, not too good today, 24. Height over bore, 2.16 inches, just measured that with the calipers. Then I'm gonna pop up right here my chart, and we're just gonna talk about it real quick. So, like I said, I put all those numbers in and calculated this here. So, we got the turret set to 0. Our next stop is 200 yards with the steel. It says it's gonna drop 3.09 inches. MOA dial would be 1.47 or 1.5 MOA. And our mils is gonna be 0.43. So I'm gonna go ahead and dial this scope to 0.4 mils. I might as well show you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're dialed for 200. And let me run down and put the camera on the steel at 200 yards. We'll be right back. Then we're gonna keep stretching it out. All right, so the wind has really picked up, but we're still gonna do our thing here. Let's send some. Verify our 200 dial at 0.4. Dead center. So somebody's gonna say that's not dead center. Are you blind? Man, it's pretty close. Might be slightly right, but the elevation is good. I'm not gonna waste any more of this ammo. So let me bring up my chart here. Since that was good, I'm gonna roll with it on to 300. What was our 300 yard dial? 300 yards is dropping 12.5 inches. Exactly 4 MOA, that's cool when that happens. And then a 1.12 mils. So or 1.16, but I'm gonna dial it for 1.2. And now we're good to go for 300. I'm gonna put my 1/3 size deer at 300 yards. We should be able to hit that. All right, so now we're back at 300 yards. And I have got, like I said, a 1/3 size deer. So it looks like a whitetail. I'm trying to get this camera turned back on. It looks like a whitetail down there, but it's a 1/3 size deer. Your brain's gonna wanna say, whoopee-doo-dah, you can hit a deer at 300 yards. The deer is only like, the back to the belly is only like this big. So I'll get my scope camera recording. Yeah. And get our parallax for 300. Turn the brightness up on this camera screen here. I've got it turned way down for deer hunting. Let's record. 300 yard recording. So I've got it on all the zoomies at 300. Let's send some. Again, 1.2 mil dial. Let's see if we can make something happen here at 300. I gotta take my hat off, bothering me. Boom. So that dial's on too. This is a little bit more fun at 300. So we're verifying that the chart that I made is good and that the scope dials are doing what I'm telling it to do. So first round hit, 300 yards. Let's try to do it again, stack it in there. Yep. It's in there. So now y'all are seeing why I said I'm gonna keep this 243 and this ammo set up. 3 in a row, stacked them right where you want them. So now, let me stop the record here on this camera. Let's go 400. We're going 400 next, so I'll pop up the chart again here. And for 400, this is saying it's dropping 29.89 inches, 7.13 MOA, or 2.08 mils for 400. So I'm gonna dial it for 2.1. 2.1. And just based off that, man, we should be money at 400. Let's go do it. 400 yards next. All right, here we go. Recording here, recording on the scope, recording down range. Get my parallax action going here. Try to get that picture as crispy as we can. Now for 400 yards and this 243 load, I'm dialed for 2.1 mils. Send another one there. I might bring it back to a dead even 2 mils dial, but we'll see where we get a little 400 yard group going here. Too easy. I didn't need any wind hold, did I? Okay, that one hit more closer to my hold. Send another one. Oh yeah. Now you guys are seeing why I said this load is perfect for this thing. Man, it's just so easy. And this scope's doing what I want it to, so that's good too. Too easy. I'm gonna do one more just for fun. I don't want to waste ammo, but broke that one a little bit right. But man, if that's not fun, I don't know what is. That 2.1 is perfect for 400 yards. So I'm gonna take it back down to 0. And man, we know that this sucker's dead on. Turn this recording off. I love this thing. This stuff and this Savage and this scope, woo! I love it. Absolutely love it. This would be a great deer catching rig too. 243. We might take it out this year for deer. I don't know. But yeah, this scope, money. There you have it, guys. I needed a long range scope on my 243, something that we could do all the dials with. Got it out to 400 yards, super easy today. And stay tuned, make sure you're subscribed. I'm gonna use this setup to go out even further here pretty soon, but hey, appreciate you watching. Testing this scope out today, the Discovery Gen 2 5 to 30 by 56. This is another one that we get discounts on, so make sure you check below. If you need a long range scope that isn't going to cost you a fortune and it'll do you just fine for stretching it out like it did here today. But hey, appreciate you watching. Check out everything down below. We'll see you guys on the next one. Hooty hoo!